I suppose that it's a good thing that the corpses will stop moving about on their own, but, I mean, it's got to be heartbreaking. Not to mention morally reprehensible to suddenly realise that you've butchered a whole stack of people and just sort of left their body parts lying around all over the place. Reiko? What are you doing? You're not about to do a heel turn, are you? Man, you're one of the good guys! A straight-up, if morally footloose high school teacher! This clone. Man, of all the people that I had expected to do a heel turn in my LPs with no indication, I was kinda hoping it would be me. You know, like at the end of Fatal Frame 2, only even more convincing and evil than that. And Saki, you have not just killed yourself. We spent the whole game trying to save your life, and you go and kill yourself. It really is turning into the end of Fatal Frame 2 all over again. All I need to do now is dub in a C64 remix and the cycle will be complete. And I know what they mean when they say that Reiko put the heart on her head. They mean that she touched it to her forehead, but the way that they've worded it, it makes it sound like she bounced it atop her head like a hat or a book when you want to do posture exercises. Game, you did not just put a loading screen behind this text scroll. Alright, game designers, basic rule. If a loading transition needs its own loading transition, then that loading transition is too freaking long. As if the fact that we are now 5 minutes in didn't give you a clue to this. And that is like the 6th time that this game has used the term scion. Had they only just heard it on Call My Bluff and wanted to use it as often as they could? What is wrong with descendant? Also, that seems kind of stupid. I know they wanted to do a final fight that was an absolute surprise, but that was dumb and contrived and it came out of nowhere. And for what it's worth, the final fight plays the wrong music. This is meant to play during the credits. Go figure. And it occurs to me that I am once again using Rio, so Aya, you're up. Somebody who's actually got a decent speed for this fast-paced blitz. So hey, here's the big surprise final boss fight, an evil clone of Reiko Mizusaki. I assume it's an evil clone of Reiko Mizusaki though. I'm not entirely sure, given her lack of a stupid goatee. You know, it occurs to me how loads of people, or at least loads of my friends anyways, they'll say, oh, if you have a goatee it means you're evil, like from that one Star Trek episode. Has anybody ever actually seen that episode? I mean, I can tell you all about the significance of bad goatees in relation to evil Mirror Universe clones, and I haven't seen that episode. There's a friend of mine, Ian, he grew a goatee recently, and the first thing we said when we saw him, there's about 3 of us, and when we saw him, we all said, at once, Mirror Universe Spock. But really, that's what you get for having a bowl cut at the age of 24. Come on now. So, yes, this is basically exactly the same as the fight in the Twin Roses, except that Reiko is stronger, faster, and she has that attack, wherein the floor is lava! And the only way to do that is to double jump. Unlike the bear that has an earthquake attack, you actually have to double jump, you can't just tag out or do a lunge or whatever. Other than that, it's just the same combos, the same launching you up and firing a shotgun, and of course Aya has to jump in at the last minute to claim the glory. Of course she does. Whatever, game. You think that's a cool thing to do? I wanted to do this wherein I got to stare at Rico during the Rio during the during these numbers counting up. Not that it even matters, because we've done this before. We've got all the stats. Just skip the numbers. Whatever, game. Whatever. And yes, thus concludes the final stage, which is only accessible by going through stage 6, I want to say. You can only get to this after you do the fight with Eva. And I gotta say, that biker suit is remarkably intact for someone who just got sliced to ribbons with a katana. For that matter, Reiko's looking good too, if a little bit jammy. And again, Reiko has a really badly rendered right arm. What the hell, game? Oh, and a bit of foreshadowing for the potential sequel, of course. Of course! Seriously though, why didn't this organization just ask for their blood? I mean, I know we're playing as morally dubious, chaotic neutral characters and all, but I'm pretty sure these guys would be willing to donate a pint in order to help people. You don't need to go through this wholly stupid, convoluted backstory or whatever. A pint? That's very nearly an armful. Had to do it. And why is Saki's blood purple, but Reiko's is red? I have only just noticed that. What's going on, game? Okay, I have a question, miss. Why exactly are we dangerous, and who is persecuting us? Because thus far, the only people who've attacked us, it's been the zombies, who have a natural bloodlust, and Eva and Reiko, who were put up to the job by their boss. I mean, speaking personally, I wouldn't mess with any of the guys in this game, largely because they have a sword and would be willing to introduce it to my sternum, but, you know. And what Reiko is basically saying here is that she wants to become more human than human. Haha, still got it. Really though, immortality is a really, really bad thing. It's good that nobody lives forever, because, I mean, we need people to die. Seriously. Even if die here. Even if what dies here? Me? You? Grammar, game. Grammar! You were doing so well. Also, Reiko's motives are all over the place here. I mean, first she says that she wants to reproduce the alchemic blood and make a race of bikini samurai herself. Then she says that she wants to eradicate all the bikini samurai. Oh well. This bit got me. You're like, oh yeah, I was gonna save Reiko's life. And then the game throws this at you. Ouch! Bad ending. Jeez. Wow. Okay. And there's your game, everybody. That was Zombie Hunters 2. And we get a medley of the game's theme tunes playing over the ending. Do you remember when all games used to do that? Those were some pretty good times. So while we're here, I suppose I can break character and stop feigning ignorance or whatever. In Reiko's defense, they do retcon this game in the Onee-chanbara game on the Wii. They say that although the original Reiko and her clones use extreme and violent methods, and although they clash with Aya and Saki a lot of the time, Reiko's true aim is not just to wipe out the zombies, but to prevent the carriers of the alchemic blood from turning on humankind whenever they get bored. I mean, we've all played The Sims, we all know how you play for a while, then you get bored of making everything perfect, you just burn the place to the ground. The game writers, they don't deny that you only killed a clone of Reiko at the end of this game, though. I mean, it is kind of that, you know, you just beheaded her or whatever. But they do make you morally justified in doing so. They say that, canonically, Reiko Mizusaki has been cloned 9 times. And the mass production clones, like the one that we fought now, they were all derived from the original 9, rather than Reiko herself. Therefore, they're more prone to being psychotic jerkasses. They are more likely to be faulty. All sorts of things like that. Reiko is actually a playable character in this game, and the version of Reiko that you play is the original Reiko Mizusaki, though, the good guy. And you can tell this because she doesn't possess alchemic blood, so, you know, she can't go berserk. And one of her alternative costumes is a slutty teacher outfit sporting cleavage you could ski down. Thanks, Japan! Also, in the background of the credits, you can see various characters wearing various costumes. These are, for the most part, Aya and Saki, wearing the costumes that you can unlock for them by playing the game. I mean, we've also seen the Makoto sisters, the Futaba sisters, Ryo and Makoto Futaba. I am terrible with names today, let me tell you. And we've also seen the Dragon sisters, who, interestingly enough, are wearing an alternative costume for this game. In the original, they're wearing sort of steampunk samurai armor, where in this game, they're just a t-shirt and a bit of a bandage around their breasts. I mean, they've got to appeal to the demographics somehow, am I right? Also, the first time I saw this ending, I thought my disc was scratched, but no, it actually, this last credit and this last credit alone are all wobbly, and they're not explaining why. Did anyone else see that flash? No, you didn't. And just like that, the game asks you if you want to save, and surprisingly I do. And yeah, we're done. So until next time, goodbye.